What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be diving into a very important topic for me, as well as it's considered kind of a cultural mystery. But the big thing is, why do millennials be low-key obsessed, with mafia and gangster movies, while our parents worshipped, the cowboy and westerns of John Wayne and, of course, Clint Eastwood. Like our parents, grew up wanting to be, like I said, Clint Eastwood, just riding off into the sunset after solving the town, crisis. But we as millennials, we grew up wanting to be Ray Liotta and Robert De Niro with a questionable moral compass and a really cool leather jacket. So let's talk about it. The Western. For boomers and Gen X parents, Westerns were the blueprint of cool, the lone hero, good versus evil, simple morals, huge desert landscapes where nobody had student loans. It was all about rugged independence. If there's a problem, you just ride your horse into town and handle your business. No emails, no landlords, no 9 to 5 grind. Westerns were the fantasy of freedom. But millennials didn't grow up with that America. Now enter millennials. We're the generation that grew up watching multiple recessions, housing crisis, student debt, corporations acting like the real villains. We don't relate to the cowboy who solves everything with one dramatic stare. No, we relate to the grind. We relate to surviving systems bigger than us. We relate to characters who say things like, I'm trying to get ahead, but the system won't let me. That's basically the entire plot of Goodfellas, Casino, The Sopranos, and every other Scorsese movie created. Part 3. The don't dream about horses. We dream about having control in a world that constantly tells us we have none. Gangster movies hit that nerve hard because those characters built their own power. They had found their own family. They broke rules of a system that was rigged. They got respect even when they're flawed. The Western hero would typically say, I'm a lone wolf. Whereas our gangster hero would often say, I'm part of something bigger here. And millennials love community, even dysfunctional community. If you don't believe me, just look at our obsession with group chats and trauma bonding. The food. Be honest, Western movies gave us dust and tumbleweeds. Gangster movies gave us suits, dimly lit restaurants, iconic musics, giant bowls of pasta, yelling for no reason, and the best quotes ever written in cinema, which we'll go over in a little bit.
Really funny.
Because
Really
you
funny.
can't quote a Western without sounding like you're damn LARPing. But you quote Goodfellas at a party, someone comes across the room and says, hey, say it again.
Funny how?
Do it.
I mean, what's funny about it?
Millennials love quotable movies.
Go
Black
home and
and
get your
white.
fucking shine box.
Gangster films are all gray areas. Millennials grew up in a complexity, globalization, internet culture, chaos, contradictions. We don't want simple heroes. We want layered characters who are charming, dangerous, make terrible decisions, but also have moments where we're like, dang, it's kind of right though. It's character study heaven. Now let's be real. Scorsese, Coppola, De Niro, Pesci, Pacino. This is the genre that has some of the best filmmakers ever created. Millennials grew up watching DVDs like they were textbooks. We appreciate craft. We study cinematic mastery. So yeah, we're a little obsessed. So, while our parents loved the cowboy fantasy of freedom, millennials love the gangster fantasy of taking control of our lives, even if everything around us is chaos. And honestly, we may never ever own a house, but at least we'd understand the symbolism behind the well timed Joe Pesci monologue. So, hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into millennial psychology and movie culture, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me your favorite Mafia movie or favorite line, whatever. I'm sure I'll recognize it and love to riff with you guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, never rat on your friends and always keep watching good movies. Later.
Bing, pow, boom, bing. Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?